3 tips to boost your testosterone without steroids, okay? And this was a training that I did in my private Facebook group and on LinkedIn. It's quite in depth. Before we even go any further, please like, share, subscribe, because I've got a lot of in-depth training videos coming, switching up the content a little bit, so a bit more raw. So you're gonna see me and my coaching element. You get a bit of an insight into what it's like to work with me on a personal level to some degree. If you're interested in this, just keep watching. It's gonna play. It's about 15 minutes, so make sure you get your notepad ready. And if you find value in it, please like, share, subscribe, and maybe have a listen to the podcast as well.
Today, guys, you don't need to, this won't be long, it'll be about 10 minutes, but I want to talk to you guys about why it's very, very important for men to increase their testosterone and make sure that they are performing at their best. If you are a busy guy, if you are running a company, you're working, you've got a family, over time, you know, as we get older, as we get into our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, your testosterone is going to dip. So we need to be doing all we can to make sure that that does not happen. And I'll go through quite a few things that, you know, may affect you in this time. Listen, guys, if you can't sit and listen to the whole thing, don't worry. Or even if you're busy, maybe just pop some headphones in, have a little listening. All good. So really what I want you guys to do before we even get into this is, if you go on my page, you can see I have a free fat loss guide. So if you are a guy trying to get in shape, even a woman, you can head over to the website right now, download one of my free guides. But the first thing I'm going to touch on is actually the effect of having extra belly fat. Okay, because extra belly fat will cause you to end up lowering your testosterone. And unfortunately, there is not much that you can do in that regards if that happens to you. You need to kind of prevent that. And if it does happen, you can reverse it, but you want to do your best to avoid it, because like they say, prevention is better than cure. So what happens is, when you gain extra belly fat, there is a hormone in the body that gets released. It's called aspartame, or something along those lines. And what happens is, basically, it increases the amount of estrogen in your body. And as we all know, estrogen is a female hormone. So what does that do to you? It completely destroys your testosterone levels. It can cause erectile dysfunction. It can cause you to be low in energy. It can cause you to lack the fitness and strength that your body needs. It can affect your libido, and all of these things, obviously, not ideal for a man. So how can we naturally reverse that process? Firstly, the first thing you really want to look at is calories, and the amount of calories you're consuming as a man. The first thing that I would consider is, we work these busy jobs, man. We got family, we go out to eat, we drink alcohol with our friends and maybe our partner, and maybe work lunches, work meetings. But do you need to drink alcohol every single work meeting? Do you need to drink alcohol with your friends every single week? I would never tell any of my clients to stop drinking alcohol. They can drink alcohol, but it's about the amount of alcohol you're having. Alcohol is going to have a direct impact on your testosterone levels. Now, it might not affect you right now as a young guy, or even if you're in your 30s and 40s, it might not affect you, but it's going to affect the amount of body fat you have. And like I just explained, the amount of body fat you have means you're going to release more estrogen, which is a female hormone. And we're men, we're not females. So you need to be aware of what's going to happen, because when that happens, guess what? Your libido is going to go down, erectile dysfunction, not feeling your best, and obviously body confidence, because men suffer with body confidence too. The next thing to do, the second thing to boost your testosterone naturally, is to build muscle mass as a man. And I know that I'm not going to get into the whole society and politics and masculinity, but as a man, being strong should be something you're proud of. Having muscles and having a muscular frame is something you should be proud of. It's something you should want to achieve. It doesn't matter if you're 40. I've got men in my program that are 50 years old. 50 years old, and they're benching, squatting, deadlifting, and running 3-4 miles every single week. So you want to build as much muscle mass as possible, because every decade of life, testosterone starts to come down. So how can we prevent that? You can't really stop it from happening, but you can minimize the amount of testosterone you lose over time. The best way to do that, build more muscle mass, increase your cardiovascular endurance and strength, and I promise you, you will minimize the amount of testosterone you lose on a month to month, and a yearly basis. So building muscle mass, you can start simple. I'll give you a simple guide. If you go into my featured page, you'll see I've got a free workout booklet. It's called Lean in 15. These are 15-minute workouts. You can do them at home. And if you don't see it on my featured spot, just drop me a DM or in the comments and just put Lean in 15, and I'll send you over the link. I'll drop a comment as well so that you guys can see it. But Lean in 15 is the guide that I've made. It's a free workout booklet, absolutely free. It is within a Facebook group, but to be honest, I'll give you the actual file. You don't even need to join the Facebook group. I just want to help as many people as possible. So building some muscle mass is the next step. Now, the third step, and this is something that people don't really realize, and it's 2 in 1. I'm going to give you 2 in 1 here, and it is stress and sleep. Again, it's all to do with hormones, right? Because testosterone is a male hormone, it's a masculine hormone. What happens is, if you are very, very stressed, and listen, some of you guys are working these busy sales jobs, you're vice presidents, you're executives, you're running companies. I work with a couple guys that, they run $1 million companies, and it's hard for them to take the time out for themselves. And in the world that we're in with men, we often don't like to view this idea of self-care. It's kind of like a feminine thing. However, if you are dealing with high levels of stress, unfortunately, you're going to find it very hard to get in the best shape possible. The reason that is because what's going to happen to your body is the cortisol is going to rise. As the cortisol in your body is rising, it's not going to allow you to get in the best shape possible. You're going to find it hard to lose weight. Again, cortisol rising in your body, you release the hormones, you start to release more estrogen and more female hormones in your body. And that's where we get things like man boobs, extra belly fat, low testosterone, and it kills you again. Alongside that, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Is the stress causing low sleep, or is the low sleep causing the stress? Either way, you have to address both of them. So the first thing you want to try and do, even if you've got kids, and I've got people that have kids, so this is possible, you want to try and get at least a minimum of 6 hours sleep. And if you can't get 6, maybe you do 4 or 5, and then you do a couple naps throughout the day. But you want to try and get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, because the lack of sleep is also going to affect your hunger levels. Again, more hormones, because you have a hunger hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin will be affected by lack of sleep. That means you're going to eat more and eat poorly. Then you're going to gain fat. And guess what happens? More estrogen. So you can see it's a vicious cycle. But sleep and stress together is what's going to save you when it comes to testosterone. So guys, look, nice and easy. Those are the 3 things to make sure that your testosterone stays up there and you can increase your testosterone over time. You do not have to lose testosterone over years and years and years. You can actually maintain it as long as you train hard and you have nutrition. Now, for those of you that are still on, I appreciate it. One thing you will notice is as you get older, you're probably not going to be able to train as hard as you once did. Unfortunately, it's natural that our bodies do change over time, right? It's just, we're humans, we're not robots. So you want to try and do everything you can to make sure that that doesn't happen. So for those of you that are interested, I have 3 main guides that I like to give away. I've got a recipe booklet that will give you some recipe ideas. I've got a training booklet, and I've got the fat loss guide for those of you that are interested. It should be available on my featured section. If it's not, feel free to reach out to me. And for those that have actually DM'd me about coaching, I've got 2 more spots for my intake for March. And then hopefully in April, I'll have maybe 10 or 15 spots again to reopen for the next intake. So for those of you that are interested, just drop me a DM and DM me the word optimized or testosterone. Just DM me a word related to what we just talked about, because I won't know what the DM's about if you just DM me randomly. So, and if you want the guides and they're not on my website or on my featured page, please just DM me, just saying whatever guide you want. Recipe booklet. I've got a free Facebook group. I've got a free fat loss guide, and I have a recipe booklet and a workout guide. So hopefully, guys, you found some use in that.